Hello everyone, it's Mike from Roxabox90. Been a while, hasn't it? And yet there are 13,000 of you still here, which is amazing to me. I'm glad. I've been getting a lot of comments still, and I do try to look at them when I have the chance. And even though I can't create consistent content because of life and everything else, I realized as I was stuck home with the COVID stuff going on, I hadn't made a review of Dragon Shield products. If you guys recall, years ago, I was sponsored by Dragon Shield makers. They sent me a bunch of stuff. I really wanted to test it out, and it all collided at once when I had to stop making videos consistently. The review never quite got made. However, I've been using the products for about 1,000 days now, and I wanted to talk about them. So before, just to make sure nobody's confused, I'm putting up this video because I want to do it as a completionist, but also I will probably make videos every now and then for this channel. If they're magic related and I'm thinking about magic, it's on my mind. I haven't left magic. Magic is still very much a part of my life and what I play, what I do. I just haven't had the time to create content that I'm happy with. It's just not been part of the cards. Don't expect that this is going to be a consistent thing, but I want to do it now. So let's talk about Dragon Shield products. I got a few different kinds. We have the traditional normal sleeves, which are like a glossy, slight curve to them, and we have the matte sleeves. Not so new now, but they haven't made a significant number of newer products. I would bet that the mattes are in the upper tier of card sleeves overall. And then also have the deck boxes. They have two different types they sent me, and that's where I think we'll start. First was the small deck box. This one is perfect for one unsleeved EDH deck or a fully double-sleeved 60 card deck with sideboard double sleeved as well. It holds it really nice, tight closed. It's not going to fall apart when you're carrying it around. It's the perfect kind of thing you want to just toss in your backpack when you're going somewhere if you just need a single deck. And even having a few of these in your bag, it's much more convenient than having a much larger case, bulky case. Plastic, whatever it's made of, some kind of thick plastic, is pretty durable. I've been using it for years now, and it's still the same one that I've been using. It does get a little scratched. It's one of the issues with plastic overall is when it gets beat up and scratched, and that can mar the surface a bit. I find that it's not very visible, and it's not for me an issue. For me, I worry more about the durability and quality, and that is here in spades. Similarly, they also make a much larger case that's good for commander decks. And not just commander decks, you can have probably 4 60 card decks pretty easily in here because you can fit 2 fully double sleeved commander decks and it works just as well. And the double sleeve commander decks, as you know, can be a tall pile. And here you can fit 2 of them easily. You can even put sideboard cards without any trouble. One thing I'll note is it does have a tendency, if you drop it or bang it hard, the plastic can develop these small cracks inside the material. It's not that there's an actual crack in the box, or at least not one that passes through air or liquid or whatever, but it does mar the look of it. And we also have the top, because it's one long piece, but it's very thin. If you yank off the top too quickly, because it's sturdy and secure and it's not going to fall out, to yank off the top, it can potentially crack down the middle, as you can see from this one that I have. All in all, both these products I find are great for protecting your decks. The one thing that they don't do that I've seen a couple of competitors do is in terms of waterproofing. It seals pretty tightly, but I wouldn't say it's waterproof. But for anything else, especially dust, which is a big killer of premium decks with foils and such, it's great. It keeps the dust sealed out, and it's very hard to even get the lid off when you're intentionally doing it, let alone if you flip it upside down by accident or something like that. Yeah, I've been very happy with them, and I use them for my own decks. Let's talk about the sleeves. I have the normal sleeves and the matte sleeves. From the normal sleeves, I find that they have a little bit of a gloss on the back. At the same time, they're not quite as slippery as the matte sleeves. Funny enough, the matte sleeves, which have a surface texture, are actually a little slippier, which is fine because that's part of their charm in terms of shuffling. The glossy ones have much harder time shuffling. And for big commander decks, that's not amazing, but they are more durable. And we'll talk about that in 1 second. For the matte sleeves, as I said, the shuffling is very easy and smooth as can be. The texture of the cards feels better. The glossiness actually feels, it's not rougher, it's shinier, it doesn't have as rough a surface, but it's stickier for your fingers. So it actually feels greasier, or more like there's oils and grease on it. It doesn't necessarily deter from the play of it that much, but that's a big difference from my texture feel. In terms of durability, as I said, the glossy ones actually are a little bit thicker. I did a rip test inspired by the professor. I did a rip test on these, and as you can see on the video, when you rip the normal sleeve, what ends up happening is that it's tougher and you really have to go for the edge and rip it off. The matte sleeve actually comes off a little easier, but I think that goes back to being a thinner material. And in terms of a random sleeve that I have lying around, which I'll slip in here a clip of it as well, that one actually, the plastic of the sleeve itself rips. So that's not great. But the Dragon Shield, one of the great things I found about it is that yes, it very rarely splits. If it splits on the seam, so it rarely damages the card. And also, you don't end up with the plastic getting mangled as easily. It's much harder to mangle the plastic, even accidentally. What I find in terms of when you're putting the cards into the sleeves, they're pretty similar. They both have this issue that Dragon Shield has. It's not a big one, which is when you put in a double sleeve, at least if you use the thin type, which I use, I don't use the hard inner sleeves, you get an air pocket, which builds because they're tight, which is great. That's what you want in your cards, so that the dust doesn't get in. But at the same time, it's a little tricky to get it in. A trick I usually use is I put my finger inside as I slide the plastic in all the way down, and then I kind of weave it back up to release the air, and it works perfectly fine. It just takes a bit getting used to. But I like that because it means that the tightness of the sleeve pocket around your card is there to protect it from dust and the like. And from a glossy perspective, what is it if you use foils? How does it look? The plastic is very clear, very easy to see, and you get minimal reflection, at least no more than any competitors. In fact, I would argue that some of the competitors in market have an even foggier, darker look in order to supposedly help with this reflection, but at the same time you darken the foil, and the whole point of foils is that they pop and shine and look bright. You don't want them to look dull. And these don't look dull at all, neither the normal or the matte. And that's pretty much the bulk of it. I've had very good experience with Dragon Shield. I know they're a little more premium, so I'd suggest if you're going to be buying for commander decks or for a cube, to go look and try to buy them in bulk. You can actually get them for under $10 a pack if you look on eBay and distributor channels, maybe even work with your LGS if they're accommodating for you to work with a distributor to get them for even less. I've seen them as low as $7.99 a pack if you're buying in bulk. And by bulk, I mean like 10. If you're not buying in bulk, they're still not badly priced, and I would say because not the normal or the matte, whichever one you want to go with, neither of them are likely to fall apart on you. As I said, when you intentionally try to damage it, then I've seen damage. If you don't try to intentionally damage it, the wear and tear, I've had for years heavy use of decks, and on one hand, I can count the number that have split of either one of these packs. Dragon Shield products are quality. They're great. You're paying for a premium because you want your cards to be protected, and you're paying a premium because you want them to be protected. And that is where I'll end. Dragon Shield products will cost a bit more, but it's worth it, in my opinion. And for me, I go with the matte sleeves. I like the feel of them. They shuffle better, as durable, I would argue, as the other ones. I've used them both. And if you had to pick one that you wanted to use, then I would suggest the matte. If you were sitting next to me and said, which one should I go with right now? The matte is, in my opinion, better. Last point, I know that there are other sleeves out that are supposed to be non-reflective for foils. Dragon Shield makes as well. There's been mixed results with those. Anytime you start to play with the surface to try to manage reflection, you inevitably impact the foil with those things. I don't think it's worth it. The Dragon Shield has great clarity, and as long as you're sitting in reasonable light, it's fine. I've had very little issues with it. So what do you guys think? Have you been using Dragon Shield for a while? Because I've been using them for years. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree, disagree? What has your experience been? And as I said, I can't guarantee there'll be more. I hope there will be. I would say stay tuned. It's coming around the corner. RoxBox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.